go. We're on Daf Chaf Gimel and Bet Chaf Dalet and Aleph. Last week, absolutely mind-bending. I hope you found it to be so. I made one discovery. What are you talking about? In addition to George's excellent app with all the mazalot, the mazalot have to do with the sun, right? The mazalot are the sun and the mazalot are connected to each other. This is solar calendar. The moon is moving at a much quicker rate, a monthly rate, obviously, in terms of its cycle. I only discovered yesterday on my iPhone that there is a way, if you scroll down on the iPhone on the weather app, where it gives you the waning gibbous, and if you click it, this is important because it's for our shir, you could regale yourself for hours just going through the days of the month where you see the phase of the moon going in and out.
Where? I'm on the border.
Scroll, go all the way to the bottom. Keep going. You're going to see a picture of a moon at some point.
I don't see the moon.
Go after the temperature is a map. See the moon? Click on it. Click on it. It's unbelievable. Now you never thought, oh, what does the iPhone have to do with the Gemara Shir Rosh Hashanah? Everything.
Is this it?
That's it. Now move your finger across the bar that's on the top that has the little dots, the little lines.
Yeah.
Look at it. Do you see this? The moon. Less of the moon is visible. More of the moon is visible.
Oh, wow.
Ronnie, you see this? So you could see what day of the month is what.
That's amazing.
Okay. So you could watch the different phases of the moon going in and out. You can go back by a month and you can go forward by a month. It's really great. Now, we don't have time to play with this for too much longer because we actually, our goal is Gemara Astronomy.
Which one?
Do you have an iPhone?
Yes.
Okay, so did you go to the moon picture? Okay, so now you see that there's like lines and it says Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. If you scroll your finger across it, you'll see the cycles of the moon going in and out. Okay, and it gives you the English names for what they are, right? What they're called, right? The waxing and the waning. So you got the first quarter, the waxing gibbous, the full moon and how long the full moon lasts, then the waning gibbous, right? So it's the nature of the shape of what it looks like. It's after between a quarter and a half is called gibbous. Okay, so if you have an iPhone, the iPhone has now been elevated. There it is. And if you scroll your finger across, you take today's date. Let's say today's date is November whatever we're up to 10. You see there's actually a little blue dot on mine. So when you scroll across, you go to Tuesday. If you kept going, you'll see how the moon is waning because after the 15th of the month. When you get to the very end, to waning crest, November 18, 19, 20, you'll find that eventually there's the new moon. On November 20th is the new moon. Notice the picture is black. There's no moon at the new moon. Why? Because right behind the moon is the sun. And the way the Ribono Shalom set up the world, it's been pointed out by many believers and even non-believers who think it's the biggest coincidence, is that the the distance between us and the moon and the sun is such that when they're aligned, the moon is completely blocking the sun, right? So if you put your thumb up, right, you could block out a mountain with your thumb. The question is how far away from your eye it is. If you bring it closer to your eye, it starts to crowd out everything past it. That's the relative size of the moon to the sun. Even though the moon is much, much smaller, because of its proximity, it plays more heavily. And why is this all relevant for us? Because when you're looking at the new moon and you go past it, that's the molad, is the new moon. Okay, but we want the molad of Yerushalayim. But when you go past it, you get to the waxing crescent. When you get to Saturday, November 22, go to Saturday, November 22, and just go to 12 a.m., you'll see the faintest sliver of the moon. It's almost imperceptible. 12 when Saturday becomes Sunday. It's called the waxing crescent. But the truth is, when the waxing crescent happens, at that point, you do not see the moon at this point. You know why? Because under the planet Earth. Because moonset already happened at 6:43 p.m. It tells you moonrise, moonset. Now, when you keep going, and this is the instructive part, this is where now we're getting into it. Go to Sunday, November 23. If you can go across Sunday, November 23. Ronnie, do you have an iPhone or are you bored because you don't know what's going on?
No,
Sunday, November 23. Go through the day to 5. Go to what is it? 4 p.m. Okay, let's say 4 p.m. And when you go to 4 p.m., November 23, this is a waxing crescent. So I want to show you. Waxing crescent. There is the faintest, tiniest little sliver of the moon. It's on the right-hand side of your screen. And this is the only time you can see.
How do you get to 4 p.m.?
No. So keep scrolling to Sunday. Never mind the bottom. Just keep going.
Sunday.
So scroll your finger across it.
Okay.
So look.
I see.
Okay. There, bingo.
Okay,
At 2 p.m., you're not going to see the waxing crescent because the sun is in the sky.
right.
When you get to Sunday at 4 p.m.,
Gotcha.
Sunday, November 23 at 4 p.m.
Okay.
is the sun is going to set on Sunday at
6:43.
no, that's the moon. When's the sun going to set? The sun's going to set right now. When was Shkia? 4:34 was today.
Right.
So by next week, Shkia is going to be 4, I'm guessing 4:28. I could look it up. I don't want to take off the screen. Okay.
Yeah.
So between 4 and 4:28, that's the little tiny amount of time. Maybe you're going to see that little tiny sliver. It's so easy to miss. And if you wait too long, well, yeah, the moon isn't going to set till 6:43, except for one problem. If you keep going, go down to 8 p.m. or something. So that's too late. I don't think I can even get it. If you go to I don't know, 6 p.m., it's a very, very small amount of time that you'll actually be able to see that crescent above the horizon. It's too late. That's what we talked about, this band that you can see the moon. And that's the next Gemara is, how high in the sky exactly did you see the moon? Too high? It's impossible. You couldn't see the moon because it means the sun must have been close enough to it that it was blotting it out. But if the sun has set and too long has passed, the moon is trailing the sun, there's not enough light to shine on the moon to show you what it is. And that's why it is just, you're on a hair's breadth to see that sliver. And it's only on one particular day that works. It's the day 29 going into Leil 30. So that the next day, Yom 30, they can make a big announcement, Mekudash. But if you miss it, declaration.
No.
So you don't need that little book anymore. Now you have
Right, exactly.
Can I use the Shabbos?
No, well, you couldn't use it if you had the Shabbos app. Now, by the way, if you scroll down a little further beyond that band, you're going to see a calendar which shows you the phase of the moon for the month of November.
Yeah.
You can get what everything is, right?
Anyway, sunset on 24, November 21st is 4:24.
Yeah, so it's very early. The point is, if it's mamash after sunset, there's a very short window of time where the sun's light is still shining on the moon, and the moon is still visible, such that you can get that tiny little band. Yeah. But it's so easy to miss.
So
It's interesting. It says
it happens to be the Rosh Chodesh.
This Shabbos.
The Rosh
Rosh Chodesh is Shabbos.
Friday.
It's Friday rather. But this says new moon is Thursday.
What?
This is showing new moon is Thursday.
The two things. First of all, the new moon is on Thursday for two reasons. Number one, this is
Thursday night.
It's Chicago, different latitude, longitude. Number one. Number two, the Molad is not the same as Rosh Chodesh.
Right.
The Rosh Chodesh we observe is supposed to be and will be again the day on which the first sliver of the moon is visible. But this is the point. That's not the day. That's not the Molad. The Molad could be a day or even a day and a half before the first day of Rosh Chodesh.
Molad is 1:38 p.m. and 9 Chalakim on Thursday, November 20.
Right. Doesn't that make sense?
That is
The point is it has to be a certain number of hours. The Molad is when you cannot see the moon because it's all lined up. Now, when that lineup happens in the middle of the day, you don't see it. How come? Because it's daytime. The sun is, I don't know, but you don't really, that's not really when the Molad is. The Molad is really at a time when the moon is not even shining because the sun is somewhere behind it. We don't see it. That's conjunction. And what we're waiting for when we say we want to declare Rosh Chodesh is the first moment when the moon's first sliver is visible.
So
okay?
Rosh Chodesh then is
It's Friday.
It's Friday.
You'll be able to see it. So the Eidim, or let's say this.
You will be able to see it in Yerushalayim. No, in Yerushalayim, the Molad was, Ronnie just read it for us.
Yeah.
What is at 1:38 p.m.
1:38 p.m. and 9 Chalakim.
on Thursday. So now you count up another 18 hours. So Taka, at some point on Friday before sunset.
See the moon Saturday, Sunday.
Depends where you're living. Depends where you are on planet Earth.
You'll be able to see it.
And pollution's all different things. In Yerushalayim, this was all possible. Yes.
So
and this
Eidim came with this.
Yeah, exactly.
They wouldn't be happy.
Exactly.
Came with the app.
But I mean, like
This is amazing.
when you don't understand this, you think, I mean, how hard could it be? Yeah, everyone sees the moon, isn't it? It's so obvious. It's not so obvious. And it's not so obvious on Davka, the one night, maybe two nights that you need it to possibly happen. Now, when the calendar was set as, with exception, which we'll come to that exception, not tonight, but we're actually up to it right now, 29 or 30 days every month alternating. 29, 30, 29, 30. the one of the months, it's actually two of the months, but we're about to come to one of them,
Yeah.
sometimes has 30 days and sometimes has 29 days, and it's Mar Cheshvan.
Yes.
So I don't want to mention a name. I think it's not fair, but there's someone in the shul who has a yurt site on 30 Mar Cheshvan. But there's no 30 Mar Cheshvan this year. 29 Mar Cheshvan, Aleph Kislev. So the yurt site gets pushed to Aleph Kislev. There isn't actually a 30 Mar Cheshvan. And some years, and this is why you also have this with regard to Hanukkah, also, Rosh Chodesh Tevet. No. That's a month, an extra month. I'm talking about an extra day. The months generally alternate, right? One month is 30 days, the next month is 29 days. 30 days, 29 days, and then the Rosh Chodesh is 2 days, 1 day, 2 days, 1 day, 2 days, 1 day, 2 days, 1 day.
That's interesting because John and I have Yortzeit on the 3rd of Tevet.
Right. Which
very
sometimes
often is the last night of Hanukkah.
But sometimes it's not. Exactly.
So I know.
What does that matter? It depends on how many days shall have, 30 days has November, April, June, and November.
Exactly.
So there must be one for Chodesh Mar Cheshvan and Tevet. I don't know it, but it must be out there. Rosh Chodesh Kislev and Tevet. I mean,
When there's two Adars, it's the second Adar, it's the first of the month versus the.
yeah.
The extra
Because the
month
bar
is
mitzvahs.
actually the first Adar. Because Adar normally has 29 days.
The extra
And when
one.
you add a
Yeah.
first Adar, the first Adar has 30 and the second Adar has the same number of days it usually.
Right.
Yeah.
But halachically, for various reasons, we do the second one for Purim, V'chulei, Bizman Hazeh. But there was discussion about this Ein Bain. Look in the Ein Bain, the beginning of Masechet Rosh Hashanah, Megillah, where it goes into this idea. Anyway, this is all still in the astronomy phase. We haven't opened up the Gemara in a little while. I thought we should do that. But my point here, and we talked about this last time also, some of these questions come across. This is so obvious. Who's going to make a mistake? It was very easy to make a mistake.
That's the algorithm for Cheshvan and Kislev. What they do is they calculate when the two Rosh Hashanahs are supposed to be based
Right.
on the Molad.
Right.
Then when they know the two Rosh Hashanahs, they know how
Exactly.
much of the year they're
Exactly.
supposed to be.
Exactly. Exactly. And then whether they're going to, it's an accordion, expanding or contracting, depending,
Or leaving it alone.
or just leaving it as is. You wanted to ask, please.
What?
Something semi-connected to it. I just looked in the Chumash this Shabbat to see if they mention when we say Talumatal. What do you think they say in the
The Chumash?
not in the Chumash, in the Siddur?
December 4 or December 5, depending.
Yeah, right. They always refer to December 4th.
Yes, because it has to do with the Tkufa.
How did they get to it?
Because it has to do with
the
yeah, that's another, that has to do with the seasons and the solar calendar.
People spoke about it.
Yeah.
Between Meich Hamari
Yeah.
A few weeks
It
ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
has to do with the fact that they were
Yeah.
computing the Tekufa based on the Julian calendar.
Right. It's a whole big story. That's I don't want to go down the road. Larry had a question on this subject with the moon. Let's go back to it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's say you want to know how many days Kislev and Cheshvan have this year.
Let me just ask my question again. What are the two Rosh Hashanahs? Not their purpose. One is.
Before and after, they're bracketing this year.
Talking about Aleph Tishrei of the 2 years, that Kislev is between one Rosh Hashanah and another Rosh Hashanah. Based on the Molad, they know when each Rosh Hashanah is, plus the rules of Lo Adu Rosh, and they figure out when Rosh Hashanah is. That determines how many days there are in the year. And so then it's either
The second Rosh Hashanah.
10 months after Kislev.
It has to be related though to the Molad. The Molad is astronomical. So we're moving the calendar around very, very slightly to accommodate for that reality. There's a lot of aspects here. I mean, the actual real lunar length of a cycle. We're talking about Rosh Hashanah, Tishrei to Tishrei.
Tishrei. That's the only Rosh Hashanah we're talking about.
Yeah, right now that's the one. Yeah.
Tishrei till.
Till Aleph Tishrei the following year is a certain number of days, and then they adjust Cheshvan and Kislev for the year to have that right number of days.
Right.
It's 354 days.
Well, ish, give or take this, give or take that, but they start adding up, and every month is 29 days and 12 hours, and so many halakim v'chulei. Tartsag, whatever it's called. So by the time you figure it all out, there are little variations. My point tonight, just with the iPhone app, which I only discovered this past week, since last year, I was looking for moon set times and I wanted to see if it was on the iPhone. I said, "Oh, Taka, tell it gives you a moon." Well, not everyone's perfect. What can you do?
Just curious.
Hope springs eternal. You'll convert. No, I'm just kidding.
Curious.
There's no such requirement. But the point, you can look it up online also. You see the phases of the moon, and you see how easy it would be to make a mistake, and how easy it is for people to not really be clear on when things are happening. And that's where we come to these questions. Now, last year we spent a long time, really, I would say, in the weeds, literally with the diagram, with the color pictures, right. The north and the south, because the moon and the sun, if you've been noticing, they're not actually due east and due west. The sun rises in the east and south sets in the west, but it's really the eastern sky and the western sky. It's only true due east 90 degrees, 270 degrees, 2 days of the year. Otherwise, it's at some variation to it. Now, in a related story to all of this, I did have to throw in one line from the Parsha, and Rashi from last week's Parsha. It's a little late, but you're early for next year, so don't worry. You may recall that the one time in the month when you see the full moon is when the moon and the sun are actually farthest away from each other. Mm-hmm. And actually, that is the main time, not the only time, the main time of the year when you see the cycle going. They are both in the sky actually at the same time. You just don't notice it because the moon is on one side and the sun is farther away. And then as it goes up, that's why you see the full moon for as long as you do, and it's so prominent. How does it relate to the Parsha? The angels come to visit Avram and Sarah. It's Pesach. They go to visit Lot. It's Pesach, which makes sense because it's around the 15th of the month. It's the 15th of the month of Nisan, presumably. And Rashi describes that Davka Kadosh Baruch Hu made sure that the time of the actual destruction of Sodom and Amorah will be at such a time very, very early in the morning. So early in the morning, it's actually before sunrise. And just, it's real at sunrise, but just at the end, the sun is rising and the moon is going down. And that's when Sodom is destroyed. So Chazal say why? Because otherwise, had it happened at night, then they would have said, oh, the sun god is powerful. It can't be harmed. Only the moon god can be harmed. Therefore, it came at night. And if it had happened in broad daylight, would have said the moon god is more powerful, and therefore it could. So Kadosh Baruch Hu destroys Sodom, Davka, when they're both in the sky. Everybody's getting hit. Mm-hmm. Now, until now, I was like, I don't know. It is in the sky. It's not in the sky. But Nafal HaSimon this year, when I'm going through Shnai Mikra, Taket, because it's the time of the full moon, because 15th of the month. Okay, so that's the time. Lushi Vasiugot. So Rashi says from Chazal, Pesach Haya. The Pesach Nolad Yitzchak, but it's, remember they say to her, Shova Shuvei Lecha Ke'eit Chai U'Sarah Bein. So one of the Rashis that describes Sarat Srita Bakotel, whatever that means, because it was a tent. So what kind of kotel is it?
Yishmael asked the 4 questions.
Yishmael asked the fear questions. Taka. Probably couldn't ask any questions out of bris, but okay. Whatever it is. Okay. So there you have it. All right. Keeping the voice box going. Okay. Let's go to the Gemara. We saw there are 5 questions, and the Gemara has these questions that at the beginning when we saw them, it said question 1 and question 2. It's like the same thing. What's the relationship between the sun and the moon? Look at the Gemara. So Abai said, no, Amar Abai clarified. Pimata lifnei chama ola achar chama. Where's the part of the moon, the sliver of the moon you can see, but what part is dark? So is it like this? The sun went down and then the moon is following? That makes sense because the sun is shining that way. But if you said, oh no, I saw it, the moon was like this and the sun had gone down, well, that's nonsense because how could the sun be shining on the moon? It would be that way. It's a round object. So that's what he said. So Imar lifnei chama lo maklum. We saw this rest. I'm reading it quickly. The reason why I can't see the concave nature, Pegima means the deficiency of the moon, because it'll make the moon feel bad. I mean, this whole idea that we learn moral lessons, even from what we see. There's the Gemara in Chulin of the argument based on the pasuk of Shnei Hamarot and Ma'or Gadol, Ma'or Katon. So how come originally it said Shnei Hamarot? and then it changed it to the large and the small. So that's the Gemara in Chulin, that the moon is complaining. It can't be two crowns for, right? The two kings with the same crown. Okay, so it's small, yeah. And the reason why the sun of the concave nature of the rainbow, rather the rainbow is going as a boat, and then the sun is above it. Dolimru ovde achama gireka mishdaya. They shouldn't say that the sun is throwing arrows to fight people in the world. And it's using the keshet for that purpose. So the pegima of the keshet is facing facing it that way. Okay, it's a beautiful idea. The Ramban, by the way, picks this up. The idea that when people were not going to fight in a war, so they would outstretch the bow, and you know how a bow goes. The taut part is where you pull the arrow back. So the bow, you would turn it backwards to show you're at peace, because you're not going to fire an arrow if the hard a semicircle is towards you and the string is the other way. It'll be backwards at yourself. So that's the sign that it's for peace. So that we saw this already. Now top of the page. Kama hayagavoa ula'ayin hananota. Tana chada litzfona dvarav kayamin lidroma lomar klum. Batani ipcha. The first bright that we have here says if it's to the north, then the moon was to the north of the sun. They didn't say anything. Then that works. But if it was to the south, doesn't mean anything. But if he said it the opposite, right? So you have another bright. This is exactly the opposite. It's lo kashya. Kan bi modachama, kan bi modachama. So we saw this last time in the pictures. There's east and there's west, but in the western sky, there's northwestern and southwestern. And depending on what time of year it is, summer to the north, winter to the south, that's where you're going to find from that median line. That's how many of the Rishonim seem to understand it. That's where you're going to have the sun and the moon arrayed. So the sun goes down there, and the moon will follow suit in that vicinity. So Tan Rabbanan, Echad Omer Gavoa, Shnei Mir Da'ot, Ve'echad Omer Gimel, Edutan Kayamet. If they say that it's like a cattle prod. That's probably the wrong word. I think they like to say it's like a goad. It's the big stick that they would use to move the cattle around. So you could basically hold it up, and what was the height of the moon relative to one goad, two goads, goad length, so we call it, of the mir da'ot. So if one guy said 2 and the other guy said 3, Eidun Kayamet, then okay, it's in the ballpark, guesstimation. Echad Omer Gimel, Echad Omer Hey, one said 3, one said 5, Eidun Betela. Too far. Aval mitztarfin le'edut acheret. But if someone else came and said, it's 3, or someone else came and said it's 5, it put those two guys together, even though the two guys who said we saw it together, one of them, it's possible, it didn't destroy the edut completely. If they could find someone else who could pair with this guy, good enough. Please.
What this is saying is that 2 individuals separately come.
Well, they came as individuals, but usually in pairs, meaning they're going to be tested individually.
But they came as a copy.
Yeah. And the point of the Gemara is, if that cot breaks apart, you don't say what they said is 0. You say maybe someone else from this whole room of people. Remember, I was dramatizing it. They're eating in the carving stations. They have a smorgasbord because it says that they had a lot of food. They want people to feel good. They came and they're going to test everybody. So now they're going to find some other guy. Anybody in here think it was 3 mirdaot in the air? We want to test you next. Come in the back room. The point was they needed 2 who are going to agree. Okay.
That's such an exception to the idea.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Precisely. Now, why? Again, in the back of our minds, we already know why. Because the Chachamim already knew this whole thing. They knew how the calendar works. They don't need the approbation, the rabbi to say Chazal knew what they were talking about. Chazal knew what they were talking about. So they lived in this world, and they were very, very well steeped in this world of astronomy, right? And so they needed it. I mean, so he keep time. How can you be an Oved Hashem if you don't know what time it is? If you don't know what day of the week and what day of the month and what day of the year and okay. So now, Tana Rabbanan, Re'inu b'mayim, Re'inu b'ashashit, Re'inu b'avim, Ein me'idin alav. Right. So this is very strange. If the group, the 2 guys come, the 2 Adam come, they say, we saw its reflection in the water. We saw it through some kind of a glass smoked glass. There was a glass, there was a looking glass, there was a glass they were holding it. I don't know.
There's lantern.
Or they say we saw it through clouds. Then we don't accept it. I mean, it's weird. You would say, like, if you already saw it down below, why don't you just look up and look? What do we have to say? I saw it in the water. But once again,
how is it even possible? It's such a sliver, you know.
exactly. So it's such a sliver, it doesn't count. This doesn't count. But why couldn't they just look up and see it? Because maybe they missed it. Maybe it was the last second. And they're so excited. Oh, we saw it. We saw it. You didn't see it. So the Gemara says, in case you're going to claim, yeah, we saw it through something else. We saw it through the clouds, but we think we saw it. You would only have a second to see it. Maybe. Yeah.
What would be the criteria to be an aid? What do you have to, in order
To be a kosher aid, you have to have good eyesight, and you have to get huge line. That's it.
So that's all you need?
That's it.
Okay.
You have to be a Jew.
But
A man. Women are exempt.
Okay,
And again,
that's what I thought.
Not again. Yeah, be kosher ladies.
Kosher.
Now, Chetzia b'mayim, Chetzia b'avim, Chetzia b'shashit, in me'eating a love. Right. We don't have any dove races over here. So I saw let's say they said we saw half in the water, half in the clouds, half through a looking glass or something. Say I'm eating a love. So the Gemara asks, wait, hashta kulo amart lo chetzim b'ayile? Amart lo, sorry, chetzim b'aya. You already said if you saw the whole thing that way, it's no good. So half you would think is okay. No, this is what it means. Chetzim b'mayim, chetzim b'rakia, chetzim b'avim. Chetzim b'rakia, chetzim b'shashit, chetzim b'rakia, ain't eating a love. Let's say you saw half and half. Half is in the water, half is in the sky. How could it be half in the water, half in the sky?
What you see in the water could be a reflection also.
Yeah. How can you see half in the water, half in the sky? You ever stand at the beach, at the ocean? You stand at like Lake Michigan? It's a lake, it's flat.
you mean,
Yeah,
you
right.
can see it at the
Yeah, it's at the horizon.
They're saying they saw it the same, no, they.
So if they said half of it was in the water, half of it was out of the water. That was not out of the water. The point is the half that we saw was clearly that was the reflection of what we saw in the water. That must be. It's also not good. Half was in the sky and half was through the glass. So they're walking by, I don't know what, some kind of a wall, and on top of the wall there's some piece of glass, and they look through, and half of the moon they see, and half of the moon they see through the glass. Not good.
It's the same.
Well, it's through a glass. It's not. Yeah. But the point is, fine. So from what they're seeing, there's a split.
I'm saying they have testified they saw
The whole sliver,
the
yeah.
whole sliver. When they see a reflection, what they're seeing is the top half. but
Doubles.
not the bottom.
Nachon.
Can't see
Nachon. So then it could be, because that seems like so obvious. It could be that they were walking. There's a little wall, and there's a glass of water, and they're looking through the water, and they see half. They think this. I don't know. The point is, it doesn't work. And the Gemara says, well, if you did it, you might have thought half is good enough. So that Ema Eden, it's not going to work. So Tana Rabbanan, Re'inu, Vishuv, Lo Re'inuhu, Ema Eden love. If they said we saw it and then we didn't see it, you can't use that as an Eidud either. So the Gemara says, what? Kol Hachi Chazula Ve'azle? I mean, how long do you think they have to look for it? Look at it. You have to look at it for like a second. You don't need to stare at it for 10 minutes. They might not have 10 minutes. So Amar Abaye Hachikamar, this is what it means. Re'inu me'elenu, v'shavnu liroto mida'atenu, v'lo re'inu. We glimpsed it through the corner of our eye. We were not paying attention. We didn't realize it's the new moon. We saw it. And then I said to him, hey, did you see the moon? What? There's a moon? Yeah, look. And they looked back and it was not there anymore. So they didn't have kavana the first time. Right? V'shavnu liroto mida'atenu, v'lo re'inu. Aim eating a love. My timer. Right? Why not? Why isn't that good enough? And again, in the past, it was hard to understand what does this word even mean. But the next statement is Amor kuvita de eva ba'amahu dechaze. Maybe they saw the sliver of the reflection of the sun on the bottom little part of a cloud that looks just like the moon. It's off in the distance. The sun is shining on it. It's sunset. It's still shining on the bottom of it. It was shining on the bottom of the cloud. That's what it looked like. Looks pretty much like the moon. So it could have been a mistake. We're not going to accept it. We're not going to accept
So
it.
that's why I was asking, what's the criteria? Because if they make, in terms of
Yeah.
what they're,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Now, Mishnah. Rosh Beitin Omer Mekudash. V'chol ha'am onin acharav Mekudash. So the Rosh Beitin is going to, once they accept the witnesses, They have a ceremony. The Rosh Beit Din is going to announce Mekudash, and everybody answers, screaming back, Mekudash, Mekudash. Right? Bein shenir bismano, bein shalor nira bismano, mekachin oto. Whether it's the 30th day or the 31st day. 30th day means the night before. They tested the witnesses. They got the answer. And on day 30, because the Beit Din doesn't meet at night, so in the daytime of day 30, they announce Mekudash, Mekudash, Mekudash. And then that day on the calendar is no longer called day 30, it's called day 1, which means there were only 29 days of the previous month. This is before there's a calendrical system set. This is how it worked. If they didn't see the Adam didn't come, then for sure that night, day 30 would end. There's no day 31 in Jewish law in a month. Day 31 automatically equals day 1. But the Chachamim say in this Mishnah, even in that instance, they would wait till the morning of day 31. The sun would rise. It didn't matter. No witnesses are coming the next night. It doesn't matter because it's automatic. Nonetheless, they make a ceremony. Rosh Beit Din says Mekudash, and everybody else says Mekudash, Mekudash, and it's a new month. Rabbi Eliezer Bar Tzadok.
You said in the morning?
Only in the day.
The day.
They don't meet
Yeah.
at night.
By the way,
Right, so-
By the way, if the witnesses saw the moon, and this would happen sometimes, this is part of the problem. They would see them, we're going to see it shortly in the Gemara. If the witnesses saw the moon the night of the 30th, meaning 29 on the calendar, the sun sets, it's 30, the witnesses see it, but they're in Cholon, and the trains aren't working. So they have to run all the way to Yerushalayim to take a bicycle, and they're cycling all the way there. They're chugging and they get there. But they don't get there the night. It wouldn't matter anyway, because they can't, the Beit Din isn't going to meet. So they wait till the next morning. But there's a traffic tie-up on Kvish Echad, and they don't get there till 2:45 p.m. on day 30. And they come running in like a marathon. Come running in, and they sit them down, and they test them. It's good. Sunset is 4:25. It's coming up. It's 4 o'clock. Best be sure that the Dayanim have to announce Mekudash, Mekudash, Mekudash before 4:25 p.m. when the sun sets. If they miss it, well, and the next day is going to be Rosh Chodesh.
When would they bring the Korban Rosh Chodesh?
Well, that was a big problem because they ran out of time. They ran out of time.
There were times so they just didn't bring it in.
And there's no time left. No time left. It's stuck. And the next day would be the Rosh Chodesh. That's all. Rabbi Lazar Bar Tzadok disagrees. Rabbi Lazar Bar Tzadok Omer, Im lo nira bismano, ein mekachin oto shefar kichu shamayim. If the witnesses didn't come on the night of the 30th, so the next day, day 30, there's nothing to say because the witnesses didn't show up. But once the sun sets and it's day 31, the next morning, it's not day 31. Regardless, they're just going to do the ceremony even if witnesses didn't come. There's no point. Sorry, there's no point in doing the ceremony. What's the point of the ceremony? I mean, it's a ceremony. You don't need a ceremony. Mina Shemayim, because we know by day there's only 30 days in a month. There's never more than 30 days in a month. Impossible. A chodesh me'uber means it's 30 days.
You bring the Korban.
Yeah, the korban for sure. But the point is, Rabbi Elazar Bar Tzadok disagrees with the Chachamim. Chachamim think the Beit Din must make this halachic mechanism transpire, where the Beit Din declares it's chodesh every single time, whether the witnesses came or when the witnesses didn't come. If they came the night of the 30th, Matov Manoim, on day 30, that when sun would rise, convene the Beit Din, Mekudash, 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 back and forth, and we're finished. After they tested the Adam, maybe in the middle of the night or something. But if no one came, then at night, okay, it's automatically the new month. Regardless, the next day you have to do Mekudash, 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 because you need the Beit Din to have the bottom line. God gave us the power of Kiddush HaChodesh and the mitzvah of Kiddush HaChodesh. So it's a mitzvah. The second opinion in the Mishnah says, no, you only need to do it if you're actually doing something. But if you were not able to do something, because no witnesses came, Mina Shemayim, they were Mekadosh Mina Shemayim. You don't need the Beit Din to put their rubber stamp on the reality that is around them. Follow? Machloket Chachamim, Elazar Bar Tzadok. Are you with me? Gemara.
Which way did it go?
Oh, I mean, that in the Gemara. What did they do?
Yeah.
Is a Chachamim? Stay tuned. Give everything away in the first moment. So the beginning part, it seems almost a little bit. I don't want to say it's not right to call it tangential, but it sort of sets up the source. Rosh Beit Din is going to say Mekudash. They're going to answer Mekudash, Mekudash. Minan immediately. Where's this from? Amar B'chir Bar Gamda, Amar Rabbi Yossi Bar Shol, Amar Rabbi, Amar Kra, Vayidaber Moshe et Modei Hashem. Now, this pasuk is actually from the end of Parshat Moedot. So you say Kiddush, Vayidaber Moshe et Modei Hashem B'nei Yisrael, Savri, right?
Yeah.
Let's straight out of Kiddush and put it in the Chumash. Sefer Vayikra, Parshat Emor. Yeah, this joke is the opposite. Vayidaber Moshe. Literally, it means that Moshe told them about the holidays. But the Gemara has a limud. Vayidaber Moshe means it had to be spoken aloud. That's the special time of Rosh Chodesh. Mikan Rosh Beitin Omer Mekudash. V'chol ha'am oni nacharav Mekudash Mekudash. Why do they have to respond to him twice? Minalad. Amar Papa Amar Kra Asher Tikreu Otam. Karibei Atem. Right? So it's not Sigru Otam, call them, but when you look in the Chumash, in the Sefer Torah, it's spelled Aleph Taf Mem, which could be read not just as Otam, but Cholam, but it could be Atem. You have to call it. So since you have to call it, that's what you're going to say. Mekudash, Mekudash. Right? Rabbi Nachman Bar Yitzchak Amar Eilahem Mo'adai Heim Yomru Mo'adai Mekudash, Mekudash. Right? Trei Zimne Lamali Dichtiv Mikrai Kodesh. So since it says Elohim Mo'adai, these are my holidays. The bear El Bnei Yisrael Amarta Alhem Mo'adei Hashem Astikru Otam Nikrai Kodesh Elohim Mo'adai. Elohim Mo'adai. Heim Yom Mo'adai. Right? They're the ones who have to declare that it's my special time. So the Brosh Beitin starts Mekudash, and they say back Mekudash, Mekudash. How come twice? Tracing Nilamali. Dichtiv Mikra'e Kodesh. The declarations, plural, of holiness. What's the minimum number of plural? 2. So they have to say twice. That's the source. Now comes the machlokas that Chuck asked about moments ago. Relazar bar Tzadok Omer, im lo nir bismano, ein mekachin oto. So we have 2 shitas. Chachamim, which is you always need the Beit Din involved. We have Relazar bar Tzadok saying you only need the Beit Din involved in actually doing something, which is on the first day of Rosh Chodesh. If there's a second day, meaning it didn't happen on the first day, you don't need the Beit Din to be involved because Mekudash Mina Shemayim. So now, we have a third opinion that's brought to us in the Gemara. A Braita, Tanya. Plemo Omer, Bismano E Mekachin Oto, Shelo Bismano Mekachin Oto. The exact opposite. If the witnesses come night 30, justify. So in the morning of day 30, it's automatically Rosh Chodesh. You don't need the Beit Din to go through a ceremony. Seems strange. It's exactly the opposite. What's the logic? We'll see in a minute. Another Shita of Rabbi Elazar Reb Shimon that we never need to do this. We never need to have a Beit Din actually say the words Mekudash and Mekudash, Mekudash. All we need is for the witnesses to come. We test them. If we tested them and it's good, so we just make a big announcement. Okay, it's Rosh Chodesh. You don't need a ceremony. You don't need a decoration. You don't need the Rosh Beit Din and the people of the Beit Din. No such mitzvah. And if it's the second day, meaning the witnesses did not come Leil 30 or day 30 at all, so now it's night 31. Okay, it's the first day. Everyone add the Yavo, finished. Don't need the Beit Din at all. Why? What's his rationale? You have to sanctify the 50th year. That's on Yovel. Shanim atamakadesh v'atamakadesh chodashim. You're going to make the sanctification of years happen, but not of months. And that's why it said v'kidashim et shnat hachamishim, to exclude the sanctification of months. I mean, that's totally inverted, right? The Mishnah, the Chachamim say you have to say Mekudash. Mekudash. This is a dialogue. All the other shitas hold it. No, I don't think you don't need it at all. Aram Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Halach Rabbi Elazar Bar Tzadok. He thinks the halacha follows the second opinion of the Mishnah against the Chachamim, that you only have to say Mekudash if it's on Leil Shloshim that the witnesses came. If it's Leil 31, or if they didn't come at all, no need. Amar Abaye, Afan Nami Tanena. We also have something along these lines, a Braita that says, Ra'uhu Beit Din, V'chol Yisrael Nachkeru Ha'edim, if the Beit Din saw it. And all of Israel saw that there was a moon. It was an obvious night. Beautiful, clear night. Everybody saw it. So Nachkeru Ha'edim, V'lo Yispiku L'may Mekudash Ashach HaSheicha, Harizim Uber. Abaye says, do you see this? If the Beit Din and all of the Jewish people saw it on the night of 29 going into 30, and then there were Eidim, and the Eidim didn't show up for some reason until the next day, day 30, 4 p.m., and 4:25 was already sunset, so they didn't have enough time to say Mekudash until it got dark out. Harei Ma'uber. Then automatically it's Ma'ubar, meaning it's going to be, Ma'uber means like pregnant, it's bulging. What's the bulge? They have an extra, day 31 is day 1. Ma'ubar in, Mekudash lo. All right, so only if it's Ma'ubar, then that's the case where you don't require the declaration of Mekudash. They didn't have time to say it, and then the next day you see that it became the first day of the next Rosh Chodesh. Meuber itzrichale sakadai chamina hoyevaru beitim choisrael ifarsmav lo yavruha kamash malah. So Abaye notes that he turns this Breita in the other direction. You might have thought that since everybody had started, the Breita started and said, the Beit Din and all the Jews already knew, it was already Mefursam. Everybody knew that the 30th day is really going to be Rosh Chodesh. Everybody knew that. You could ask any person on the street. So happened, none of them became the Edom. Loyada. To given in the problem. It was Lev the Edom, and they didn't get there in time. And they right, and they didn't make the declaration in time. So you might have thought, yeah, but everybody knows that was really the day. No, they didn't say Mekudash. So then it's not going to work, and you really the next day will be Rosh Chodesh because procedurally it didn't happen. What's the logic? The question really that is turning on is what is the Beit Din doing? Are they creating a halachic reality? We declare it's Rosh Chodesh, which is required whether it's because they saw the Edom, or even if they didn't see the Edom the next night, but the Beit Din still has to be the ones who declare it's Rosh Chodesh. Mm-hmm. Or is the mechanism of Kiddush HaChodesh just a way to have a procedure if there were Edom involved? So then it's done by people, and therefore you have to have the endpoint, Mekudash. But if that never happened, then what are you doing a ceremony the next day? It's automatically Mekudash Mina Shemayim. Nafka Mina. The witnesses came on the night of the 31st, and so we just saw the new moon now. According to the Chachamim, you go through the motions, and then the next day, you have to say Mekudash. According to Rabbi Elazar Bar Tzadok, it doesn't matter. Mekudash Mina Shemayim. You just tell everybody, okay, it's Rosh Chodesh. Yeah? And therefore, as the sun was setting on the 30th day of the month, and no Edom came, tell everybody, okay, Yalav Yavo already in Mark, because obviously that's Rosh Chodesh. Everybody knows.
Why even bother coming?
Wait. How does Elazar Tzadok deal with the pasuk? He doesn't hold of that drasha. He doesn't like it. He says, no, I don't accept that drasha. That's what he says. That's the Yidam Masorah. What did you say?
If they don't see the night of the 29th going into the 30th, why even bother coming on the 30th?
Because they're worried that maybe the witnesses will come after daybreak on the 30th in the morning or at 11 a.m. and they'll come rushing in and they'll have to declare that day.
Oh, okay.
And you didn't know. By the way, this is why we've talked about it before. This is why if you forget Yalav Yavo at night on Rosh Chodesh, you don't go back because the Beit Din never met at night. So why do we say it in the first place? Maybe we shouldn't say it at all. No, because we have a set calendar. We know when Rosh Chodesh is. Yeah. Unfortunately, we are so out of time, and I have the boys come into my house. I gave out the Rambam. If you could hold on to the Rambam, we'll do it next time. Or you give them back to me, I'll hand it out next time. It's fine. It's fine. And Ronnie, hopefully you'll be able to join us next time. And if not, we'll accept you also on the screen.